Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce. Investment management for your lifetime. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health, it's your health. Let's own it together. Bud Light, the world's famous light beer. Dilly Dilly. Doubletree by Hilton Akron Fairlawn, preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. By your Akron, Canton, Bryant heating and cooling dealers. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Zips Basketball Weekly with head coach John Groce. My name's Joe Dunn, and if you were at Rhodes Arena on Saturday afternoon, you saw a heck of a college basketball game. A tough loss, 75-74 to Marshall, but pure basketball, Coach. Obviously, you want to win every game you play, but sitting back and just watching that as a college basketball game, that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I said that after the game. I thought it was a great Saturday afternoon college basketball game. I thought both teams really went at each other. I thought both teams had big-time players making big-time plays, and unfortunately for us, we fell a point short. We had our chances late. They made a couple more plays than we did.
We'll talk more about that Marshall game a little bit later. Right now, however, let's go back to Fort Wayne, Indiana, the historic Coliseum over in Fort Wayne. Boy, that thing's been around for a long, long time. Coach, have you been there before prior to this Fort Wayne game?
I had been in there one time before. Yes, great facility, and you know, obviously being from Indiana, familiar with its historic nature.
Boy, ice cold in that first half. Coach, what were you thinking the way we were shooting that basketball early?
Didn't shoot it well early, but I for the first time really, and obviously we had lost a couple games prior to that where I thought we played really well, Joe and the Caymans. Yeah. But the first 25 minutes or so, I just didn't think we had it. And then the last 15 minutes, we turned it on and played some really good basketball, both ends, defensively and offensively, and our defense kind of ignited the offensive thrust that allowed us to take the 1-point lead late in the game after being 19 down. So give our guys a lot of credit for fighting back. You
got some great looks in that first half. It wasn't like the offense wasn't getting you looks.
Early on, for sure. Yeah. I agree with you. I thought that we had some great rhythm offensively. We just didn't have good enough shot making. And then once our shots didn't go in, I thought it affected our defense a little bit for the first time all year. And I thought we pressed a little bit offensively, like I said, until that last 15 minutes of the game where I thought we played really, really well.
I think I asked you this question on the radio show, Coach, a couple weeks ago. You're sitting there watching momentum turn in that second half. When did you think it had a chance to come back and win that basketball game?
Well, we went to the zone, as you know, Joe, from being there. And once we did that, we started to disrupt their rhythm a little bit. Thought it gave us an opportunity to get back in the game. And that changing defenses that we played, I thought, really put us in a situation where we're able to force some turnovers and get some easy ones in transition, string some stops together, which ultimately gave us a chance to not only get back in the game, but take the 1-point lead late.
Coach, you've obviously coached a lot of basketball games, played in a lot of games. When can you feel momentum shift? What are some of the things you feel, and especially when you're playing on the road?
Well, I think, you know, for me, we call them kills defensively when you get 3 stops in a row. Anytime you can string 3 stops in a row together, or 3 scores in a row together, obviously that's kind of the barometer for me where you can flip the switch a little bit, Joe, you know, in respect to either end in terms of how you've been playing up to that point. But you're right. I mean, momentum is a big thing in basketball, and certainly when you have it, you have it. And obviously when you don't, you're trying to do whatever you can as a coach to flip that switch and get it going in the other direction.
I think your team was down like 16, 17 points in that second half, came back and took the lead briefly, then got a last-second shot, I think by you told me, that could have really been big.
Yeah, we did. Jamon had a chance there at a layup on a baseline drive from the left corner and a tip subsequent to that. And then, you know, we ended up taking it out, calling timeout, ran a great action, got them really scrambling and in rotation, and Dan Utomi drove it. And obviously he'd like to have that possession over as we would, just, you know, maybe should have jump stopped in the paint, and like Dan has done so many times in his career, and deliver in and around the basket. We got a little anxious there, and they forced a turnover, and ultimately that's what did us in there in the final moments.
Coach, we'll talk more about the Marshall game, of course, but one thing that's brought you back in a lot of games in the second half, you've changed defenses on people. Went zone, man, shown man, then go into zone. It's been a lot of different things.
No, it's been good for us. It's the first year that we've done that. I thought it would be good for this particular team, and you know, our defensive efficiency rating in those changing defenses have been very, very good. Even as of, you know, this morning as we're taping the show, we're second in the league defensively from a DER perspective. And so we've got to continue to build on that. It's something that always gives you a chance. And as you know, we've lost really the 4 ball games by a combined 12 points. So we've not only been in, but we've been right there to win. We very easily could have won any of the 10. And what I'm trying to tell our guys, if you don't come at it with the right mindset and the right heart set, you could easily lose any of the 10. So it's that fragile, and making sure our guys understand that you have to be ready to go from an effort standpoint, an attitude standpoint. You have to be engaged mentally every time you play, regardless of opponent, one possession at a time. And if we can, get to where our new group can capture that, then that gives you a chance to play with some consistency.
Coach, you've already answered my last question. I'll ask it again. With those 4 losses, with a chance to win all 4 in that last minute and a half, mentally, how does that play on a basketball team? And again, how do you counteract that?
Again, your intuition is trying to figure that out with your guys, because obviously no person, player, team is going to admit, hey, we're fragile, whatever, I think you just got to stay with what you do it better. I've got great confidence in our guys. They'll feed off of our body language and our disposition, and we've got to learn from those situations because they're going to come up again. As you know, in Mid-American Conference play, I've always said about 80% of the games in the last 4 minutes are 3 possessions, one way or the other. Each team has a chance to take the game, so a lot of times it comes down to making plays late.
Exactly. Of course, the Zips will open up conference play at home on January 5th against Western Michigan. We'll talk more about that later. Right now, we're going to take a break. We'll come back with our feature this week on the Zips Basketball Weekly.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie-cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
in the classroom,
on the track,
in the boardroom,
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
Welcome back to Zips Basketball Weekly. Coach, recruiting the lifeblood of any college basketball program. You went down to Victory Rock and got 2 players, Deng Riak and Lauren Christian Jackson. Tell us about that recruiting.
Well, first, 2 terrific guys.
They are.
I mean, you travel with us, Joe. I mean, they're just great to be around. Both of them want to be really good. They love the game. I always talk about passion being that we love the game and love people other than ourselves. It has to start with that, first, but being able to extend that to others. And both those guys do that. They're great teammates. Yeah. And obviously really good players and important for us not only this year, but for our future.
Exactly. Deng Riak, Lauren Christian Jackson, outstanding young men, outstanding young basketball players. Let's meet them right now.
My name is Deng Riak, and I'm a forward. I'm a redshirt junior from Norman Australia.
And I'm Lauren Christian Jackson. I'm a point guard, and I'm a redshirt sophomore from Chicago, Illinois. My dad started at IMG Academy, and after he left there, he decided to start his own prep school. So that summer, we thought about it. We picked the name Victory Rock Prep, and we just went with it from there. And DR was actually the first recruit ever to come to Victory Rock, so me and him became close from that summer. He was there the whole summer, so before Victory Rock even started, DR was there, so he's one of the first original Victory Rock players.
My cousin from Australia, he played for Coach Jackson at IMG, and then he told Coach Jackson about me, and he called me, and then we just talked, and then I came to Florida.
Obviously, like I said, we were familiar with those guys in the process prior to re-recruiting them on the transfer, but watching them interact on the visit was kind of funny. When DR got here and Christian had already been here for a couple hours and DR rolled in, just watching those 2 connect, you can tell they obviously were really, really tight. And when you go through the battles that they did, together in high school and, where they come from, they work, they practice, they're in the gym, they compete, and Lauren coaches them really, really hard. And, so they're challenged. And those guys, obviously, when guys are put through tough tough times together, they normally bond. And obviously DR and Christian are really tight, and they're both very, very good teammates. They're great with each other, but more importantly, they're great with their other teammates.
I found out he was trying to transfer and I was trying to transfer, so we basically talked it over with my dad and stuff. So we came on a visit at the same time in the summer, like during the school year, while we were at our respective schools. So came on a visit together and went through the visit process, the recruiting process, and I knew from the jump, after I met the players, the coaches, like I was coming. So now my thing was just to get him to come with me. So I just talked to him about it. We talked about it, and he said just give him some more time to talk about it so he could talk about it with his family. And after that, we went home. Like he went back to school, I went back to school, and he decided that he was gonna come.
I came here because I like the coaching staff, and I was gonna play with a point guard that I know and know how I like to play.
When you're recruiting kids, you're out and you get the chance to see a lot of guys and get to go to a lot of different places, and had the opportunity to recruit a couple guys from Victory Rock where Christian and Dang both played. And at the time we weren't recruiting Christian and DR specifically. We were in the gym watching some other guys, but very familiar with DR and Christian, and just happened to be when Coach, we ended up at Akron and we got here in the spring and we had a handful of scholarships, and both Christian and DR were available as transfers. DR from East Carolina and Christian from Long Beach. And nowadays in the spring you get the transfer list where there's 600, 700, 800 guys on there, and you go through and you scour for people you may know or guys you had seen prior, and both those guys stood out to us for obvious reasons. Not only are they really good players and we had a level of familiarity with them, but the fact that both of them are really good guys in terms of on the court, off the court. They're good teammates, they're high character, and they're good players, and they're what we want to try to build this thing with.
Nice thing about those two young men, Zip fans will be watch them play together for the next couple years. So that is something very positive with the Zip basketball program. We're going to take a break, come back and watch highlights from that tough loss to Marshall right after this.
Roman was born with a hole in his heart. But thanks to the experts at Summa who found the problem and fixed it quickly, he's feeling 26 again. Not 76. Minimally invasive heart procedures, many performed in under 2 hours. Summa Health, vital for getting back in the game and more.
Sir Jeremy, you are a true friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Madam Susan, you are an even truer friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. What is that?
This is a spiced honey mead wine that I have really been into lately.
Please follow Sir Brad. He's going to give you a private tour of the Pit of Misery.
I'm sorry, what?
Pit of Misery. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Here's to the friends you can always count on.
Well, the Zips lost a heartbreaker Saturday to Marshall, 75-74. But, Coach, what a basketball game. Before we take a look at highlights, why don't we go back to that final play? We're going to see it here in a minute, but I think there's 1.2 seconds left, had a chance to get it up and put it in to win it.
We did, obviously, and we were able to execute what we asked the guys to do coming out of the timeout. And, was Riak open on the slip? We'll see it here in just a second. Maybe we could have read it a little bit better. That was certainly one of the three options on the play, but with 1.1 seconds, you're trying to manufacture a catch and shoot immediately off the inbound pass. And I thought our guys did what we asked them to do. And Marshall ended up challenging Christian's shot with two players, fairly well. So give them credit. But, I felt like our rebounding, as we talked about after the game, Joe, is what did us in. And ultimately, sometimes people point to a play or two late game. And I understand that, but at the end of the day, we had enough opportunities from a rebounding perspective not to be in that situation had we blocked out better and finished defensive stops with first-time rebounds.
Exactly. Let's go back to Rhodes Arena this past Saturday afternoon. Almost 3,000 fans in the building to watch Marshall come into town. And, Coach, they're an excellent basketball team. What a year they had last year, but you were right there with them and had a chance to win it in that final minute. But that first half, Coach, both teams are shooting the lights out.
Yeah, we shot it well, especially early, and so did Marshall. And our guys really stepped up. We had guys play heavy minutes, probably a little bit more than we would normally want. Riak's first game back, we thought he would have a limited limited amount of minutes in the game. He ended up playing 23 minutes. We played some of the other guys heavier minutes with Banks being out for the game.
Yeah.
And so we had to adjust a little bit and try to adapt as best we could. And I thought the guys tried to do that with our game planning and their execution of what we needed them to do.
They were up by 4 to 6 points in that second half. They were probably a basket or two away by making it very difficult to win this game for you.
Yeah, it seemed like it was like right around 3 possessions a couple different times, and you're right. If they get one more score to get it to 4 more possessions, it starts to tilt it, and we never let that happen. Again, I thought our changing defenses were effective, very similar to what we talked about with the Purdue-Fort Wayne game, and allowed us to kind of hang in there. And had we made a play or two at the end, we would have won the basketball game. But give them credit, they made a play or two more than we did late.
See Daniel Tomey hitting that shot. He had 13 points early in that basketball game, then didn't score again until the second half.
Yeah, no, and the way we played with the pick and rolls, it's kind of like, hey, whatever it is they give us, we're going to take it. We've got multiple scoring options, which is a little bit different than last year. And we knew that Christian would have a chance to have a big day, the way they played their half-court defense man-to-man and the way that they played pick and rolls. So he did ultimately end up having a big day. Dan benefited from that in the first half. In transition, and we also had good floor spacing. They left him a couple times, and he got some great looks early.
Looked like Marshall wanted to play fast, Coach. Then it got down into the final 4 or 5 minutes. They tried to play the clock a little bit, and they turned it over and let you back in the game a little bit.
Yeah, and our defense forced some of those turnovers. Our guys really stayed with it. That's one of the things that I'm really, here early through 10 games. As you know, Joe, we've been better in the second half than the first half, and not certainly by any means intentionally, but what it has shown me is that when we've gotten in those situations where we've been down, we keep fighting and find a way to get back in the game or, take a lead in the game after being down big 19 at Purdue-Fort Wayne, after being down in a couple of games in the Caymans, coming back in those. So our guys have some fight in them, some grit in them, and obviously we just got to build on that.
Lauren Jackson ends up with 26 points against Marshall. We'll talk more about that later, but he continues to develop as not only a scorer, but really a team leader out there.
Yeah, and a playmaker.
Yeah.
I thought he made good decisions. He had 5 assists. He's one of the leading assist-to-turnover ratio guys in our league and nationally. And I just think he's doing a really good job for us, being aggressive and being able to balance when opportunities are there for him to make guys better and when opportunities are there for him to score the basketball.
We just saw the final play, Coach, as Lauren Jackson put up that off-balance 3 right in front of you. That's a tough shot to make under pressure.
Really tough, and obviously they committed 2 to him off the pin-in screen there at the end, and maybe he had a chance to get on the slip. But, it's easier said than done. Our guys are out there and got to read those situations, and we'll work with them to get better in those situations. But all in all, they executed the play, and with 1 second to go, as Dustin reminded me yesterday after the game, it's a deal where they know you're trying to manufacture a shot. In fact, Kenzie was bent to the inside trying to prevent the lob, and we had thought about lobbing it, one of the actions that we have. So, you're in that situation for a reason with 1 second to go, and you got to try to make some magic happen, and unfortunately we weren't able to do that yesterday.
Yeah. Zips lose a tough one, 75-74. We're going to take a break and come back with our weekly award winners right after this.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Air Comfort. Find them at aircomfortohio.com.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie-cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
Okay, right now it's time to announce our weekly award winners. First, whose stock is rising, brought to you each week by the Wentz Financial Group. How about Tyler Cheese, Coach? You brought him in 14 points, 4 assists, 1 steal yesterday against Marshall, and he's really gaining confidence.
He is, and I think, for him it's about defending. Obviously, offensively, he's very gifted. And he started to do some things defensively to help our ball club out. Tyler's very smart. As you know, he takes a lot of charges for us, puts his body in place. And he is the guy this past week that earned our what we call the gold standard. With what his grade out was defensively in the game against Marshall and how efficient he was offensively. You put those two in combination of all of our players that played in the Marshall game. He was the gold standard for the week, and certainly his stock is rising.
Looking real good, and again, only a junior, and Tyler Cheese is a man this program will build around not only the rest of this season, but next year as well. How about our player of the week, Lauren Christian Jackson, the point guard, 26 points against Marshall, 5 assists, 5 out of 8 behind the arc, Coach. He did it all for you.
He did. He was dynamic offensively. I thought it's as good an offensive game as he's had all season. Obviously, we need him to be a pesky defender at his size with his quickness, his intelligence. He took a few charges yesterday on that end of the floor, but yeah, he had a real good pulse of what was going on yesterday, what Marshall was giving us, made others better, and then obviously scored it at a very efficient rate.
Is he a better outside shooter, Coach, than you thought? Because he's really impressed me.
No, we knew he was. And the unique thing about him, Joe, is he can do it off of both catch and bounce.
Yep.
In fact, he may be better off the bounce, which most guys would tell you is a more difficult shot, but he has a gift with that, scoring and shooting off the dribble. That's really, for us, we're trying to put him in position and pick and rolls as much as we can to make reads offensively that can lead to good shots for not only himself, obviously, but our team.
Exactly. We're going to take a break and come back and talk about the Zips' future schedule right after this.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
in the classroom,
on the track,
in the boardroom,
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
Roman was born with a hole in his heart. But thanks to the experts at Summa who found the problem and fixed it quickly, he's feeling 26 again. Not 76. Minimally invasive heart procedures, many performed in under 2 hours. Summa Health, vital for getting back in the game and more.
Well, it's going to be a very busy week for the Zips. Tuesday night, Tennessee State comes to town. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off. And the one everybody's talking about, Coach, will be out at Reno, Nevada on Saturday. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off local time here in Akron. But what a team they are. 11-0 right now, number 7 in the nation.
Yeah, we knew they were going to be very good when we scheduled them and thought it would be just a great challenge for us heading into January and a great measuring stick. When you play that level of competition, and Eric does a great job coaching them, you have a chance to learn and grow and get better. And so we're looking forward to competing against them. Obviously, we know they're the oldest team in college basketball, I think, with the number of transfers that they've had. They've been really successful with that niche and have played really well here early. We've also got Tennessee State this week, which athletically, just dynamic athletically in transition. Great team there in terms of being able to test us with their athleticism. So it's going to be a good week for us. We're excited to bounce back. When you lose a couple like we have here lately, you always want to play again really quickly. And we get that chance to do that this week 2 times.
This will be the second nationally ranked team you've played, Coach. Got about 10 seconds. You got Clemson, now you got Nevada. Great challenge for your team.
Yeah, no, we've tried to, with our schedule, really challenge us. We know that we've got to be ready for MAC play and continue to improve and grow. And you want to be playing your best basketball in February and March, certainly as you head to Cleveland.
Exactly. Coach, best of luck against Tennessee State and, of course, Nevada. For the coach, I'm Joe Dunn. We'll see you back here in a couple weeks with more Zips Basketball Weekly. Always remember, go Zips.
Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce. Investment management for your lifetime. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health, it's your health. Let's own it together. Bud Light, the world's famous light beer. Dilly Dilly. Doubletree by Hilton Akron Fairlawn, preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. By your Akron, Canton, Bryant, heating and cooling dealers. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.